If you know me, you probably already know that I love 3D printers. If you don't, hi, I'm Alan MandicReally Mandic, and I adore these silly robot hot glue guns. They allow me to take the chaos in my ADD brain and make it a reality in a few short hours. They have their own challenges though, like turning my studio into a disaster zone from building custom 3D printers. And data management issues. I work on 3 separate computers on a regular basis, so my STL files are a labyrinth of just cluttered up drives that I can never really find what I need when I need it. It's gonna take a team of future archaeologists a long time to figure it all out. The studio disaster? That's gonna have to wait for another day. What we're dealing with in this video is the data management issue and some upgrades to my server rack. So entering the chat is hopefully the savior of my ADD brain, the new Ubiquiti UNAS Pro. The folks over at Ubiquiti did send this over for this project. They saw me struggling to manage all of my files for my video editing, my photography, my 3D design work, and said, we need to save this person from themselves. Since a lot of the work that I do can be fairly speed intensive, to go with that UNAS Pro, we've got a pile of pretty powerful professional parts, such as the 10 gigabit aggregation switch from Ubiquiti, some network cards to go with that, SFP adapters, and I think I may be the first person on YouTube setting up the UNAS Pro as a full SSD NAS. I picked up 12 terabytes of T-Force SATA SSDs to try and maximize the speed out of this thing. Will the ARM processor in it be able to handle the speeds that I need for video editing my 5.8K video files? We're gonna find out. So let's go ahead and get this thing out of the box and get these SSDs installed into here to see if this is going to meet my data storage needs. After a quick word from this video's sponsor, Skillshare. Let's stop and talk about what you might be missing as a tech enthusiast, a creator, or a maker. That is network understanding. I personally have always faked it till I made it when it came to network stuff, learning just as much as I needed to get by, and there are definitely gaps in my knowledge. And that's where the folks at Skillshare come in. Skillshare is the largest online learning community for creatives, with thousands of classes led by industry experts across topics like design, productivity, and yes, even computer networking. Their learn by doing approach makes it easy to pick up new skills that you can apply to your projects right away. For this video, I wanted to round out my networking understanding a little more, so I went with a course called Computer Network Essentials, Servers, Networks, Data Centers, and Storage by Emilio Aguero. This class dives into the fundamentals of how networks and servers work, helping you set up a system that makes life more efficient and productive, like the new Ubiquiti NAS that we're putting together here. Whether you're a beginner or looking to brush up your knowledge, it can be a great resource. And that's just one course of so many that Skillshare has on offer in a variety of subjects. If you're interested in getting a jump start on your learning process, head to my link in the description, and the first 500 folks who do so will get a 1-month free trial of Skillshare. Thank you again to Skillshare for sponsoring this video. If you're interested in expanding your knowledge, head to that link in the description, while I'm going to get into expanding my storage options. We will discuss more about why somebody might want the UNAS Pro over other ready-made NAS options that are on the market as we get this thing together, assembled, and into my server rack set up for my uses. I just got to pull it out of the box, put on the server rack mounting ears on the sides of the thing, and then pop out all of the drive sleds, which are toolless to remove. Just press on the front of them, it releases the latch, slide it out, and you're ready to install drives. Now for 3.5-inch hard drives, they are toolless to install, but I have to screw on the SSDs that I'm using to these sleds. And our final assembly step is put them all back into the machine with the drives installed on the sleds. It can hold up to 7 drives. I'm only installing 6 for that 12 terabytes, but I'm only going to get about 6 terabytes of total usable space, as I'm going to set it up in a 1.0 RAID configuration, so half of the drives are just redundancy backup for the other drives. Now, I could also put a 7th drive in, which would be a hot spare that it could fail over to if it needs to, but for right now, I'm just going with 6. With the NAS set up, it's time to get it into here so I can get it initialized, set up, and start using the thing and test its speed. but I need to reorganize this rack, especially up here. I've just been adding to this rack piece by piece and shuffling things around. It's time to be a slightly more intentional with this setup. I don't know why I left one blank 1U unit at the top, so I'm gonna shove everything up a little bit, and I gotta make room for the aggregation switch I'm putting in here. If anybody's not familiar, the aggregation switch is a 10 gigabit SFP plus connection switch, so it doesn't use RJ45 or Cat6, Cat5 connections. It's meant for tying together various switches in like an enterprise business situation. I'm going to use it to hack this setup together so I can tie my units together with 10 gigabit networking, and I'm going to use some SFP plus to RJ45 adapters to then get 10 gigabit networking into the house for my office. On the other end of the line, I did have to put a 10 gigabit NIC into my workstation in my office, which then I had to take out my capture card because unfortunately there's not enough PCIe lanes on regular Ryzen. And I kind of need Threadripper if I want more, but that's a whole different topic. I've had a few folks ask about the whole breakdown of my network setup, my home lab. I think I'm going to do a short second video just about that, so maybe check the description or the comments for a link to that video. But what I definitely want to take a moment to address is some folks asked about the concept of, well, why not just build your own NAS? Why buy one like this? And that's where we have to go to the bottom of my rack. Because down here, I already have two NAS computers that I built for myself. The lower one is my video backup one. That's for all of my video projects. This right here that I'm recording right now will live on this system. This has over 70 terabytes of usable storage in it, over 50 of which is full right now, so I'm going to be bumping it up to 100 very soon. But that's all this machine does, is just store video files so I can pull them back up for future project use, which I do on a regular basis. A lot of people question saving everything. I make use of it personally, maybe not everybody would. And this one is Ruby's. So I back up just my completed video files to here so that I have a second backup of those. She uses it for her design projects, client work. It gets backed up to here, and it's also our Plex server. So that's the power of a custom built or running something like Unraid. You have options for what you can run. I can run Home Assistant on this if I wanted to. There's so many things I can do with Docker containers and installing things on my own hardware. But these are not cheap setups. Not including drives, I'm still probably at $500–600 putting these together. I'll do some quick math, and here's how much each box would cost if I built it today. So in comes the UNAS Pro. I haven't seen anybody else set it up with SSDs alone, so I really want to see if it's going to possibly work for me, because the value proposition, this thing's $499. It's got, unfortunately, a 1 gigabit RJ45 port on it, which does limit the speed of it when connected via RJ45, but it does have a single 10 gigabit SFP port on it. So I can't pass through SFP, which is kind of why I landed on the aggregation switch. If I could have passed SFP through his, I wouldn't actually have needed the aggregation switch, but here we are. Realistically, if you fill this thing with hard drives, not SSDs, the 1 gigabit connection is almost certainly enough for your needs. So the non-pass-through SFP, is that really a big deal? I don't know. Tangent aside, the point is that I haven't found another NAS with a 10 gigabit connection on it for a better price, and not rack mount or with this many drives for sure. I think the next best one I found was a QNAP that was only 4 bays, not rack mount, and it was like $50–60 more than this. But of course, none of that matters if it's not fast enough for me. So let's get this thing powered up, set up, and test it up. Once everything was powered up, there was a pop-up prompting me to set up the UNAS Pro and getting it all configured. I logged into my Unify account and tied it to that, but you don't have to. You can run this thing standalone if you want to as just a storage box. For my application, I chose not the basic protection, but the higher protection. That is RAID 1+0. That's going to take my 12 terabytes and split it in half. Half of it is usable storage space and the other half is redundancy, so that every file I load onto there, I could have a couple of drives fail and I could still get to them. As this is for my active projects I'm currently working on, that is very important to me. It's arguably the higher importance than the speed. Before we get to the testing of the UNAS to see how it's really working for me, I do want to make one more upgrade to my server rack with the help of 3D printing. I designed these air dams quite some time ago for my rack that will mount to a rack unit, but the idea is to guide airflow through the computers that I have in here. They are quite large, they'll fit onto a 400mm build volume, but to give myself some breathing room, I use my Ratrig VCore 4500. I'm installing it on this blanking plate, but I may end up actually moving the UNAS down to be with the other NAS boxes once I get some rails for the Plex box that's in here. With the air dams in place, in comes this filter material that I picked up from McMaster-Carr. It's washable, reusable, it's very blue, but the idea is I'm going to cut it to the length that I need for this application, and I'm going to stick it into the door of my rack, which is ventilated but not filtered. So this will be a filter material for my NASs. To attach the filter to the door, I'd originally thought about using magnets, but it's fairly sturdy, so I ended up with just shoving zip ties through the grating on the front of the door and then zip tying at various portions. It'll be more annoying when I want to clean this filter, but I imagine vacuuming it will do a bulk of the work most of the time. The 3D printed air dams will help to seal this section of the rack to the filter material to hopefully force air to be a little bit more guided through the filters versus just drawing air from everywhere. This is by no means a particularly sealed setup, so it's not going to be perfect, but it should hopefully cut down a little bit on dust. And now with 100% more filtration on my server lower half, it's time to test that UNAS. So realistically, how fast is the UNAS Pro? I'm using my workstation, which has that 10 gigabit network card in it, so I've got the fastest connection in my house to the UNAS Pro to test it with. I struggled a bit with what tests I should run here, and I landed on a couple of them. Blackmagic's disk speed test, Crystal Disk Mark, and then just transferring files from this computer to the UNAS to see how it worked, as well as editing this very video you're watching off of it. Crystal Disk Mark returned the best results that I saw from my testing. They came in at just over 1000 megabytes per second on the highest speed, and that is fairly impressive when you consider we're talking about 500 megabyte per second rated SSDs. So that's the speed of RAID coming into play, and potentially a limitation of the 10 gigabit networking, which theoretically can go faster than that, but I think we're probably hitting the limits of both the SSDs and the network. Blackmagic Design has a disk test utility that is for video editors, and it's meant to test your computer to ensure that their video codecs are going to play back well for you when you're editing, primarily in DaVinci Resolve, I assume. I ran that on this thing, and that came in definitely lower, more like 500 to 600 megabytes per second read speeds. Read speeds are probably the most important thing for me because that's what is primarily happening while I'm video editing or pulling files for a 3D design project. The write speeds in the DaVinci test were definitely slower. It's somewhere around the 250 megabyte per second speed. And the last test is a real world one where I took video files from my computer and transferred them to the UNAS. So I'm testing the write speed of it, the network connection stability, my guess, and its endurance for prolonged loading of files. This fluctuated anywhere between 250 to 600 megabytes per second, though it was definitely toward the upper end of that on average. That could be down to File Explorer fluctuation with Windows because it's just not a very efficient setup, or the network connection. I don't really know where the fluctuation was coming in from. Of course, those are just numbers. How is this actually to use? As I said, I've been editing this very video off of the UNAS Pro since about halfway through the video. And honestly, it's been flawless. I was really concerned that it just wasn't going to have the speed I needed. I've had NVMe drives that just couldn't keep up with video editing the 5.8K video files in H.265 codec that I use for my videos. The UNAS Pro has not skipped a beat for me, at least the little bit of a lag here and there that I get with these larger video files has not seemed any greater editing off of the UNAS. Or down in the studio, I should be able to use this for exactly what I wanted, where I can start a video edit in the studio working on my mini PC, then come up here and work on my big workstation and finish things up. I was having some serious friction with my work setup, working between the various computers that I was, all the redundant files that I was saving to different computers and different drives. It was such a waste of time, space, and money. This UNAS Pro really does seem like it's going to solve that problem for me, where I'll be able to access files even remotely. Or something I didn't mention, it has the functionality of having my own drive of sorts, like a Google Drive, where I can load files onto here, share the link with people outside of my organization, outside of my network, and they can access them. Obviously, this was not the most extensive testing that I could do. I've only had it running for a short period of time. I'm no IT professional, not a network engineer, so getting deeper into testing, I tried to do some iPerf 3 stuff, but I was having SSH issues getting into this thing. It's new product, so there's not a lot of documentation out there about the deeper level things. With that, I am thrilled with the performance of the UNAS as the center of my multi-workstation setup now, and I'm really looking forward to using it more on a day-to-day basis. I'll update if I have any long-term updates to give on my various social media, so maybe find those links in the description. And if you're interested in picking up a UNAS Pro for yourself, there'll be an affiliate link in the description to that as well. Thank you to Ubiquiti for sending this over so I could use it in my setup, and thank you to Skillshare once again for sponsoring this video. All right, folks, that's going to wrap it up for this one. Hope you found it interesting. If you did, maybe you'll enjoy this one of setting up my mini PC that I use here as the workstation in the studio, or this one that YouTube thinks is best for you. Get subscribed to ensure your 3D prints don't fail. It's not a guarantee, but it can hurt. See you, folks.